First of all, you should know something about me. I can't tell a joke to save my life. If you were to ask me am I the well-read, serial-killing, yet thin-skinned chicken across the road, I'd probably say something like, To Kill a Mockingbird. That's my level of natural humor, which is to say, I need to work at it. That's the funny thing about humor. It can't be forced. But people love it. So should you be funny on video? And what kind of things can you be funny about? And where do you draw the line? And most of all, how do you do it? Make faces? I'll make you an offer you can't refuse. You talking to me? I don't know how to be funny. So if making faces and telling bad puns isn't the way to go, then what is? In a moment, how to bring good humor to your coaching videos. Hi, I'm Steve Washer with BrainyVideo.com, and today we're looking at how to be funny on camera. It's a skill or a knack or something that makes some people crazy, but like most skills, it just needs a little structure to bring out your natural sense of humor. Of course, humor is a blade that cuts both ways. You can draw an audience to you, or you can repel an audience from you by the way you use humor. But if you draw them to you, you'll be completely unforgettable, and you will be loved. And this is why it's so sad how most marketers avoid humor like it's an attacking zombie. They're missing out on the chance to make a real and lasting connection with their audience. Now, I understand why they do it. They say it's too hard to get it right, it's too fine a line, it'll reduce your sales, and that it's really only for the gifted. Poppycock. Holy moly, did I just say poppycock? Holy crap, did I just say holy moly? But I digress. Here's the point. If you've ever had any pain in your life, you have plenty of humor to draw from and that you can offer an audience. You know what I mean, right? Like tragedy times time equals comedy. Okay, one last thing before we get started. You can overdo this easily. Think of it this way. You wouldn't make an entire dinner out of pepper and salt. You don't need a ton of humor in your videos or blog posts either. If you have a 5-minute video and even one funny moment, that's what people will remember. Humor isn't the dish, it's the spice that makes your dish more tasty. And if you put this into practice, you'll take the pressure off yourself. Okay, let's get started. Now, I think the simplest way for all of us to use humor is by stepping lightly into the incongruity zone. In the incongruity zone, there are a whole bunch of things sitting in the waiting room that really don't belong together. It's the unexpected nature of those two things being brought together that triggers that chuckle you're looking for. Like ketchup-flavored ice cream, these incongruities keep your audience paying attention, if nothing else. So it's a good place to start. And there are 3 simple steps to making incongruity work. Step 1, think of 2 things that don't go together. And to make it even easier, remember that one of those things is the thing you're making the video about in the first place. So you really only have to think of one thing. It's almost like cheating, isn't it? So for example, let's say you sell employee incentive programs. What you're really selling is happy, productive employees. So to create your humorous image, just compare that employee to something weird, like a camel. How is a sad employee like a camel, or a toaster, or Jay-Z? It doesn't have to make sense initially. Now, step 2, make the analogy fit, really. I mean, just force it together. Your mind will make it happen, or not. If you can't make it fit at all, just move on to the next association. So you might say something like, remember, an unhappy employee is like an angry toaster. Angry toasters burn the bread when they don't like you. Okay, let's just go with that analogy and see where it takes us. To step 3, transition out of the incongruity, but leave a reminder. That will give you 2 instances of your incongruity. Think of these 2 instances as the support at the entrance to a bridge and the support at the exit from the same bridge. And what do I mean by the bridge in the first place? I mean, well, where did that come from? It's simple. What you're doing is bridging between the analogy and the next idea, which is usually the solution. So it might go something like this. You can easily avoid angry toaster syndrome by making your employees happy. And making employees happy is easy when you unplug the toaster. So in this instance, our 2 instances are angry toaster syndrome and unplug the toaster, implying that creating a happy employee is not about adding something helpful, but removing an impediment. And the cool thing is, We didn't even have to say it to put that idea in our viewer's head. Okay, so maybe angry toaster syndrome isn't the best analogy. If I knew more about employee benefit programs, it might have been better. But the great thing is, it doesn't have to be perfect. Why? Because humor also makes things memorable. You're less likely to forget angry toaster syndrome than you are something like employee dysfunction resolution or some such jargon. And that may be all the humor you need in your video. But what about overdoing it? Can't you turn off your audience with corny jokes that make you seem non-serious or otherwise hurt your credibility? Maybe you think you're one of those people who simply has no sense of humor or no taste, and you can't trust yourself to know if you've crossed the line somehow. I think that's mostly fear talking. I mean, sure, using humor is a risk. That's why no one does it, except the big gurus, and only half of them even try it. So I get it. Why do something that might backfire? First of all, it's only a risk if you think it is. Today, everyone wants you to be yourself. Humor is just a natural part of life. It's something everyone has experience with. And when we feel comfortable, we play at it with our friends. That's why it's so attractive. So use humor if you want to make friends, even online. And if you still feel like you're overdoing it, share it with a friend you trust. Believe me, they'll let you know if you've crossed the line. But with just a little experience, you'll be able to sense the line yourself. It's mostly just a factor of getting started. And did you know there are whole websites devoted to helping you do this? Just type title generator into Google and you'll get a ton of suggestions. Here's one. I entered employee incentive programs and got this. But there are dozens of others, so don't worry if, like me, you can't tell a joke to save your life. Your videos and articles can still be unforgettable. And that has great results all around. Not just in getting more clients, it's actually about legacy. When you can integrate humor into your videos, everything changes. People just feel differently about people who make them laugh. You know, the song says, all the world loves a clown, and it's true. The clown makes us laugh while challenging our perceptions. He doesn't wag his finger at us. He makes us feel ridiculously happy. And how attractive is that? So be a clown of sorts, and you won't have to chase after clients. They'll be drawn to you. So now it's your turn. How will you make this simple little incongruity tactic work in your next piece of content? This is the kind of thing we work out in the Video Brain Trust individually with our members. Well worth a look. For making you unforgettable, I'm Steve Washer with brainyvideo.com. Oh, I love Monty Python. King? We don't have no king. We're an anarcho-syndicalist commune. We take it in turns to act this sort of executive officer for the week. Go away, or I will taunt you a second time. Monsieur, you are not very funny.